Let's start with those unidentified objects shot out of the sky. Right now, just behind me on Parliament Hill, Cabinet is meeting, being briefed on the latest on that situation by Chief of Defence Staff General Wayne Eyre. Cabinet should break on our watch this evening, so we will stay tuned to find out what we can about what the ministers in that meeting heard. But in the meantime, there's General Eyre right there going into the meeting. In the meantime, what does the discovery of those unidentified objects and before them that Chinese spy balloon mean for the defense of North America? Chuck Hagel was U.S. Secretary of Defense under the Obama administration from 2013 to 2015. Hi, Secretary Hagel. Good to have you with us this evening.
Thank you.
I appreciate you making the time. Sir, if you were still Secretary of Defense, how concerned, how worried would you be about what's unfolded over the last 10 days?
Well, you always are concerned when events occur that you don't anticipate, but in the kind of world that we live in, you have to look at everything and every possibility and not be surprised by events. What will happen here, as you have just heard, the objects that have been retrieved will start to be examined. We'll probably find some pretty significant evidence to answer the questions that the Prime Minister just addressed, as well as your Defense Minister, and what President Biden has said too. So I don't know. I don't think it's anything that the United States or Canada or North America needs to be worried about, in the sense that, oh, is this something we didn't know about or didn't anticipate? No, you anticipate everything, and until we get more facts, we won't know.
For you and sort of the way that you're analyzing or looking at this, is there a delineation between that first spy balloon, which both U.S. and Canadian authorities have said, yeah, that's from China, and then these three latest objects, which right now, as we pointed out in the introduction, like we have basically no answers on, and the debris is very difficult to get to?
Well, again, I mean, we don't have answers on so much of this, and until we can get further into it, and that means the examination of what we can retrieve, which will be critically important. I don't know what anyone can say any more than that. Now, we're recalibrating, NORAD is, Canada and American defenses, we're recalibrating the analysis in the sky at the time to look at objects that may be coming closer to Earth, 16 versus 50 or 40, 1,000 feet. We just don't know, but we are going to be, I'm sure, far more aware of what's floating around up there, the intent of those objects, and is it a matter of more and newer and more sophisticated espionage objects that people are developing and using? We don't know where these other three balloons came from. We don't know if they're Chinese. We don't know where they're coming from. They could be innocent meteorological balloons. But until we get more facts, we just won't know.
So let me ask you then, because I think that a number of Canadians and Americans alike who watched those three unidentified objects and, well, didn't watch, but saw and heard right after that they were shot down, kind of feel like it's a big deal that they were, right? It was the first time on Saturday, for example, that NORAD has ever shot anything down over that airspace. And so while I know it could be nothing, the fact that it's getting shot out of the sky, like, do you understand, I guess, how it seems like something more than nothing to regular people who are watching this unfold?
Well, anytime you've got an unknown, an uncertain situation we don't have answers for, sure, there's going to be concern. It'll be legitimate concern. But I don't think we should overreact to it as well. Until, again, I say, we know more about it, we just won't know more about it. But sure, anytime something's shot down, and in fact, now this is 4 episodes, was shot out of the air, the citizenry of your country is going to question what's going on and how dangerous is this? How dangerous was it for our country, for not just the security, but for an average citizen, something could fall. I mean, it's just so many questions that are there. But again, my point is, I don't think we should be as concerned as some people have talked about. Is our defense capability really that good? Can we catch things before it's too late? I mean, I get that. But let's see. Let's see what we've got. We did check it. We did catch it. We did shoot these things down. We did retrieve as much as we could, and now we're going to analyze why were they floating over this country? Where did they come from? How much danger would they be? It'll make us better, make us more aware, and make our defenses stronger.
On the 3 identified objects, yes, all those questions certainly persist. But on the Chinese spy balloon, a lot of them, in fact, the Pentagon has answered. The Pentagon says, for example, this was part of a bigger spy balloon operation that China has had for a while now, and that now we're able to detect these balloons, and that they were looking for sensitive military information. What does it tell you that China has this type of program, and what should it tell us about Canada/U.S. is the relationship with that country?
That Canada-U.S. relationship with with China?
With China.
Yeah. Well, China is a very intense competitor. It's a rival. This is no surprise that China's spying on us. They've been spying on us. Other countries spy on us. We spy on other countries. That's not a secret. That's been going on for years and years. But one of the questions that we will have to ask is this a new accelerant with what's going on here? Have the Chinese stepped up their surveillance? Is it more sophisticated than we were aware? All those things are part of the scope of analysis here. But our ability to understand what's going on in outer space, in just the near space, as to retrieval objects, technology, what other countries have in the way of spying on us, it's very, very good. And we can always learn more. We can always be aware of things we don't know. And we're aware of that. We're always seeking understanding of more sophisticated ways that China or any other country has of spying on us, and that'll continue. But again, I say that our ability, Canada's ability, our joint abilities at Norad, are more sophisticated than any operation in the world. It doesn't mean that we aren't going to be surprised, because you just anticipate that there will be surprises. You have to always.
Okay, Secretary Hagel, I'm out of time. Thank you very much for your time this evening.
Thank you.